Hello and welcome to the African News on Voice of the People TV. I am Masinachi Okafor. We begin the African News today from Ghana, where the Electoral Commission has confirmed that all the necessary measures and mechanisms are in place to ensure a successful election. Deputy Commissioner Dr. Eric Busman Asar made the announcement during a recent panel discussion. Dr. Asar revealed that for the 4,649 polling stations across the country, 5 officials will be engaged at each location. These will include a presiding officer, a ballot issuer for the presidential election, a ballot issuer for the parliamentary elections, a verification officer, and a names reference officer. Furthermore, each constituency will have 3 returning officers, consisting of 1 returning officer and 2 deputy returning officers. Additionally, a minimum of 4 technicians will be assigned to each constituency, with larger constituencies potentially receiving up to 8 technicians to support the electoral process. The EC's commitment to a transparent and credible election process is clear as they prepare for the December 7th general elections. The presidential candidate of the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC), John Dramani Mahama, attributes the increasing number of Ghanaians turning to the NDC to the party's inclusive and non-discriminatory nature in a post following a successful campaign in the Sharia, located in the West constituency of the Upper West region. Mahama stated that the NDC is a progressive party that believes in unity and equality for all citizens of the nation. He observed that Sharia, a community that previously supported the governing New Patriotic Party (NPP), has now embraced Mahama's message of change. Mahama emphasized that the NDC does not discriminate based on region or background, adding that the party is committed to national growth and development. The former Ghana President John Kufuor has urged the media to guard against sensational headlines in their coverage of national issues. He made these remarks at a special congregation in Accra, where the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration conferred a Doctor of Letters degree on him. The former president emphasized that the spread of disinformation and misinformation has the potential to destabilize the country, highlighting the need for the media and all concerned citizens to take a stand against these phenomena. Describing misinformation as a troubling menace, Kufuor called for vigilance in safeguarding the integrity of information, reflecting on his presidency. He noted that it was during his time that the criminal libel law was repealed, paving the way for greater press freedom. Well, joining us, of course, in the studio to make sense of all of these stories is Barrister Darlington Agomo, a VOP in-house analyst and also a lawyer. Welcome to the News Analysis, Barrister.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The Ghana elections is gearing up. 7th of December is the time. And then, Ghanaians are gearing up to vote their preferred candidate. But then, seeing in the news the fact that Ghana's Electoral Commission, they have confirmed all the necessary measures, and of course, to make sure that the election comes off as, fair and smooth. How do you react to that?
Yeah, in fact, so far, the electoral body in Ghana have shown leadership and responsibility because the hiccup we normally see here, I have not had it so far. If they are ready by now for an election that will hold in December, it tells you how prepared they are, and it's good. It shows that the electoral body in Ghana, they have improved over the years. Meanwhile, we are still doing catch-up, most of the things that we undergo through during an election. In the last 3 elections held in Ghana, I didn't see some of those things there. It shows you the quality of the electoral body they have, unlike us. It's good.
All right. The deputy commissioner of the made an announcement. He did say that in the 40,649 polling stations across the country in Ghana, that of course 5 officials will be engaged at each location. Now, do you think that just 5 officials would be enough at each location that was proposed over the country in Ghana? 40,000 plus polling stations across the country. Do you think that just having 5 officials each would, curb, election issues? The fact that he also mentioned the fact that they would include a presiding officer, a ballot issuer for the presidential election, also a ballot issuer for the parliamentary elections, a verification officer, and of course a names reference officer. Do you think that they really have enough hands to make sure that these elections become smooth and fair?
My dear, I just told you here that over the years, the Ghana electoral body has improved. They have upped their game. I was expecting them to tell us that 50,000 policemen, another 50,000 military, plus DSS, will be within the polling units and all that. There is no such things. So when I told you here that they have improved, these are my reasons, these are my facts. They have really improved. If it were in Nigeria, of course, you know what would have happened. They will count how many military and police people that they will deploy. Those 5 people are enough for them.
But you know that
it's going to be seamless.
But Barrister, that they have really not even mentioned the fact that, of course, they will put up, officials, they will put up security operatives to make sure that, of course, no voter is being heard. So we don't even know how many people that they would deploy to each polling unit yet. So should we judge them already with the situation surrounding Nigerian, elections as to how much we always deploy a lot of political, a lot of officials to, guard the polling units, even though we always get to see things like ballot snatching, people being paid to vote via a preferred candidate.
I said over the years, these people have improved. They don't need all those military and police. They don't need it. If not, it would have been included in this report you are reading now. They would have told you how many security agents they are going to deploy. In fact, the last 2 elections, that was the last before this, okay, the last 2, yeah. As Ghanaians we are voting, we saw some people just doing their business in front of a polling unit. People were just, doing their business while the polling was going on, the poll was going on. We saw it. In Nigeria, there will be lockdown, no movement. As if we are going to war. So, you see, there is something wrong somewhere. We cannot be giant of Africa, and we are not even showing one good example to anybody in Africa. That's why we are losing out on everything. In fact, I give kudos to Ghanaian electoral body. They have done their job. They've done their job. How many of the elections ended up in court? Please, can you tell me? How many of their elections ended up in court? Can you tell me? So you can see. The people doing these things in Ghana, are they not human beings? Are they not human beings? They are human beings, but in Nigeria, I don't know what we have here. And yet, we'll be boasting you are giant of Africa because you are 200 million. Share a figure we go chop.
All right. Well, the former governor, the former president of Ghana, that is John, he has, of course, urged the media to guard against sensational headlines in their coverage of national issues. Also, made mention of the fact that people should be sure not to be misinformed and for the media not to spread, false information about what's happening in Ghana. What do you make of that? Well, we also have, of course, judging from the fact that we also have, of course, our politicians, telling the media not to also, spread the misinformation. And then we have a lot of people who are being, arrested for saying one or two things on social media in respect to what's happening in today's politics in Nigeria. How do you compare this, this political atmosphere in Ghana and in Nigeria as well?
Of course, the Ghanaian media have a lot to teach Nigerian media, especially during electoral period, because they have shown responsibility to their country. I mean, the Ghanaian media. We saw how one man called Anas, a journalist, he brought down the Ghana judiciary. He did a sting operation about all the corruption going on in Ghana judiciary. And with it, the president took action and overhauled the entire Ghana judiciary, the entire, from the least to the highest. What does that tell you? Try it here and see what will happen. Even with all the evidence and everything, they will even be looking for you and ask you, why did you do that? Why did you do that? That's what they'll be asking you. Who told you? So, my dear, I don't know where to start comparing the notes. So, the politician that was talking about Ghana, they're already responsible. It's just that he wanted to add a voice to it. It's just that they want to add a voice to it. That's why the election is not this hostile or volatile. They have done their homework. Look at Ghana that we chased out of Nigeria yesterday. Look at what they have done for themselves. You are talking of Ghana, you are talking of South Africa. We paid a lot to liberate from apartheid. Look at where they are. One of them was telling us in my other show with Pressure that he will invite us to South Africa in their next election for us to come and see whether we will see one policeman in their polling unit and all that, to come and see how they conduct election in South Africa. My dear, it's unfortunate, seriously, it's unfortunate.
All right, Barrister, before we wrap up this analysis segment, the former president of Ghana, John, he also did mention the fact that it was in his own administration that a law was passed, paving way for greater press freedom.
Yes.
How do you react
the law.
to that?
Yes. That's exactly, that part of what I was saying here. That country, they know, their leaders know what they are doing. Seriously, they know what they are doing. I will give it to them. Ali, where they got it right, we should celebrate them. We should celebrate them. Press freedom. Do you have it in Nigeria? Of course, I don't need to ask you. You know what is going on here. You know what is going on here. The Anas that did that, if it were, the government will put him to jail. They will imprison him. They won't even look at the revelations he brought to the table. No, they will first of all ask their secret police to arrest him and then put him to jail for doing that, for embarrassing the government. So I don't need to be told there is relative press freedom in Ghana. Telling you, there is relative press freedom in Ghana, unlike Nigeria, who claim to be giant of Africa.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Darlington Agomo, for being on the news analysis segment with us today.
Thank you, ma.
Well, you're still watching the African News and Voice of the People TV. More stories after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has warned that the unity of the country will be threatened if Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is impeached by the Senate. The Commission, through its chair Samuel Kobia, on Monday warned about the possibility of conflicts between Kenyans if senators uphold the decision of the National Assembly to impeach DP Gachagua. Senators will on Wednesday and Thursday this week expected to consider the motion before taking a vote. DP Gachagua will stand impeached if the decision is upheld. Kobia warns that the major concern is the way the process is shaping up could easily lead to conflicts between the people of Mid-Kenya area and people from other parts of the country. He said while the Senate in handling the impeachment matter should do it in a way that all Kenyan will feel that it has been fair and it has been done according to the law. He further stated that the commission will have a keen interest in one of the charges facing the DP, and that is threatening the national cohesion of the country. The deputy president, Delegati, is facing 11-count charges. Moving on, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga now says that Adani Holdings, an Indian firm, offers the best deal for Kenyans. Raila defended the Kenyan Kwanzaa government public-private partnership PPP arrangement with Adani, saying it is the best way out of the country reeling in huge debt. Adani Holdings has bagged a lucrative tender with the Kenyan Electricity Commission Company, Ketraco, that will see the Indian conglomerate operate 5 projects costing 95.68 billion shilling for 30 years. Adani is also involved in negotiations for another controversial agreement that is the subject of court and parliamentary investigations. That is 258 billion shilling deal to operate the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport for 30 years. Amid concerns from Kenyans, Raila insisted that Adani can execute the contracts given its experience and massive investments back in India. Speaking in Mombasa Sunday, Raila said when he was the Prime Minister, he was invited to India and liked the massive development which Adani had done. Raila said that a Kenyan delegation visited Gujarat and toured several of the company's infrastructure, including the port, power plant, a railway line, and an airship developed out of a swamp donated by the government. A Sudanese volunteer rescue network reported that the military conducted an airstrike on a marketplace in Khartoum on Saturday, killing 23 people. The market is located near a major camp in the capital where intense fighting between the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, and the military has raged as part of a civil war that has claimed tens of thousands of lives. Witnesses confirmed the airstrike left over 40 people injured, with many taken to the hospital for treatment. Fighting has escalated since Friday, with the military pounding southern and central Khartoum, much of which is controlled by the RSF. Military forces are advancing from nearby Modman, where clashes broke out on Saturday. The conflict began in April 2023 when tensions between Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and RSF Commander Mohammed Hamdan Daglo escalated into war. The RSF has since pushed the military out of most of Khartoum, contributing to one of the world's largest displacement crises. The first black central bank governor of South Africa, Tito Mboweni, who later went on to become finance minister, has died at the age of 65. Mboweni has suffered a short illness, the presidency confirmed on Saturday evening without specifying further. The statement by the presidency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, said the country has lost a leader and compatriot who served the nation as an activist, economic policy innovator, and champion of labor rights. Mboweni's family also said that they were devastated and that he had died in a hospital in Johannesburg, surrounded by his loved ones. A former anti-apartheid activist, Mboweni spent almost a decade in exile in Lesotho, where he attended university. That was followed by a master's degree from the University of East Anglia in the UK. Mboweni was known for his remarkable quotes that say he can be remembered as an exile kid and international kid born in South Africa. He was known, to hate narrow nationalism, noting he cannot stand xenophobia. May he so rest in perfect peace. A devastating case of alleged child abuse has shaken the community of in Limpopo, South Africa. A 22-year-old man is set to appear in the Sheshego District Court today, facing charges of raping his 11-year-old stepsister. The accused, who is the victim's stepbrother, allegedly committed multiple instances of rape. According to reports, the victim's mother was alerted by the school, prompting her to investigate further. Upon confirming the allegations with her daughter, she immediately took action. The police were notified and the suspect was apprehended. The incident has sent shockwaves through the community, highlighting the urgent need for increased protection and support for vulnerable children. The case serves as a grim reminder of the importance of ensuring the safety and well-being of children. Authorities are working to ensure justice is served and the accused faces the full force of the law. Bishop Micah Mutia a reverend leader of the Faith Apostolic Church in Zimbabwe, has passed away at the age of 102, leaving behind a profound legacy of spiritual leadership and community service. He died peacefully at his home in Maponga, Chief Nyamweda, where he spent decades ministering to his congregation and advocating for peace, unity, and spiritual well-being of his community. His passing has sparked an outpouring of tributes from followers and fellow clergy who remember him for his unwavering dedication to his faith and the people he served. In addition to his spiritual influence, Bishop Moting Gamidzwa made headlines in the lead up to the 2022 general elections when he publicly prayed for the victory of the ruling ZANU-PF party at a State House event. His endorsement of the party underscored his close ties with political leaders and his significant standing within Zimbabwe's religious community. His contributions, however, went far beyond politics, as he was deeply involved in social initiatives aimed at uplifting marginalized groups and providing support to those in need, both spiritually and physically. As Zimbabwe mourns the passing of this prominent figure, his legacy lives on in the many lives he touched and the communities he uplifted. Tributes from across the nation are expected to honor Bishop Mutigamzwa for his lifelong commitment to faith, service, and the betterment of the society. You are still watching the African News on Voice of the People TV, business and sports stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The Kenyan Deposit Insurance Corporation, KDIC, has initiated a study to revise the minimum amount depositors can access immediately in the event of a bank failure. This review comes 4 years after the coverage limit was increased to 500,000 shilling from the previous 100,000 set in 1989, effectively protecting 99% of Kenyan bank depositors. KDIC's decision aims to align the coverage with current economic realities and ensure greater protection for depositors. The corporation, which has been instrumental in stabilizing the banking sector, has not seen a bank failure since 2016 and continues to manage institutions in receivership and liquidation. Still in business, the South African Revenue Service (SARS) has intensified efforts to monitor cryptocurrency traders and holders, urging them to declare digital assets in their tax returns, with an estimated 5.8 million citizens trading in cryptocurrencies. SARS has partnered with the Financial Sector Conduct Authority to obtain information from local crypto exchanges. Exchanges like Luno and VALR have agreed to cooperate with legal requests, though they do not automatically share client data. SARS Commissioner Edward emphasized that non-compliance increases the tax burden on honest citizens and limits the government's ability to fund essential social programs. Now to some sports stories. Ghana departed for Libya on Sunday after the disappointing 0-0 draw with Sudan at the Accra Sports Stadium last on Thursday. The result left the Black Stars in third place in Group F with only 2 points, putting pressure on them to secure a win in Libya to improve their chances of qualifying for the AFCON tournament in Morocco next year. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) scheduled Sudan's home match in Libya because the ongoing civil war in Sudan prevents matches from being played there. And that is it on African News and Voice of the People TV. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and other social media handles, we are at VOP TV Live. I am Masinachi Okafo. Have a good afternoon.